At one point, Tyra Banks was everywhere. From ruling the runway to dominating daytime TV, she wasn't just a supermodel, she was a powerhouse brand. With America's Next Top Model in 2003, Tyra changed the game and expanded her empire into books, TV, and even ice cream. But somewhere along the way, it all started to unravel. From controversies surrounding her hit reality show, to the heartbreak she faced in her personal life, to the devastating fire that destroyed her LA home in early 2025, Tyra's story took a turn no one expected. And after years of being a household name, she all but disappeared from the spotlight. So what really happened to Tyra Banks? Was it just the price of fame, or something deeper? From industry betrayal to personal reinvention, stay tuned because the tragedy of Tyra Banks is more complicated and sadder than you might think. She quit the catwalk. In 2005, Tyra Banks made one of the boldest and riskiest moves in her career. At the height of her fame, she walked away from a major 3-year contract renewal with Victoria's Secret to chase a new dream. Her final runway moment. Strutting in a red lace bra and underwear, a belt of military-style medallions around her waist, high heels kicking up alongside Gisele Bündchen, Heidi Klum, and Naomi Campbell. Tyra was going out on top, and she knew it. In an interview with Variety, Tyra shared that her shift toward television was deeply personal. She was tired of the pressure to stay rail-thin just to book jobs. After gaining some weight and losing modeling work, she wanted to pivot into something that embraced her as she was. Still, looking back, she admits the move wasn't without its doubts. "Of course it all ended up okay," she told Variety, "but if someone I was mentoring asked me what to do, I'd say, 'Girl, you better sign that contract and do the talk show at the same time.'" It was a big risk. She sashayed away from her talk show. Even though Tyra Banks had stepped away from modeling to dive into television, the Tyra Banks show came to an end in 2009. The show wrapped up its 2010 and 2011 run with a collection of best-of episodes. But was it actually canceled? According to The Wrap, ratings actually jumped by 20 to 25% in key demographics after it moved to the CW, though overall viewership remained pretty average. Tyra has always maintained that the decision to end the show was hers. She wanted to shift her focus to her production company and other projects. "It was one of the hardest things I've ever done," she told Variety in 2018. "Having a talk show and doing 6 shows a week is non-stop. By the last season, I was so stressed. Filming 2 top model cycles a year on top of the talk show was just too much. Everything started to overlap." Her website was riddled with controversy. In 2011, Tyra Banks teamed up with Demand Media to launch Type F, a beauty and fashion site promising personalized advice from experts. She even brought in big names like former Vogue editor Andre Leon Talley to give the platform some serious credibility. But despite the star power, the project ran into trouble almost immediately. Demand Media didn't exactly have the best reputation. The company was known for pumping out loads of low-quality content just to rank high in search results. On top of that, Type F raised some eyebrows for its questionable privacy settings, reportedly sharing users' personal info with affiliated sites, mostly through Facebook. Tyra, for her part, didn't see it as a controversy. "The one thing that's great about Demand is that they're employing a lot of people and giving them an opportunity to express themselves," she said at the time. Still, the buzz didn't last. Just 2 years after launch, Type F had gone quiet, posting minimal content, shifting focus to another Demand Media property, eHouse Style, and only racking up about 12,000 YouTube subscribers with sporadic uploads. America's Next Top Model was axed. At its peak, America's Next Top Model was a reality TV juggernaut. It dominated ratings and became a pop culture staple, running an impressive 12 years and 22 cycles across UPN and the CW after its 2003 debut. The show weathered countless changes, from tie-overs to male contestants and even fan voting. But over time, its audience started to slip, losing more than 3.5 million viewers between Cycle 9 and Cycle 18. While ANTM broke ground by spotlighting African American and LGBTQ+ models, the endless format changes eventually wore viewers out. Things took a major hit when longtime sponsors like CoverGirl pulled out, leading to the 2012 dismissal of familiar faces like Nigel Barker, Jay Manuel, and Jay Alexander. Then came the final blow. Tyra publicly hinted that Cycle 22 might be the end. The show was officially canceled in 2015 as the CW shifted its focus to superhero content and an older demographic. Fab Life also got the boot. It didn't take long for Tyra Banks to walk away from daytime TV for a second time. In 2015, just 2 months after the debut of Fab Life on Disney ABC, the retired supermodel decided to leave the show. In an interview with Variety, she admitted that she wasn't fully invested in the project and mostly saw it as a platform to promote her beauty company. However, the show ended up taking too much time away from her business. I realized that being on the show all the time and then doing meetings for my cosmetics line in the alley behind the show, I'm like, wait, this is so much money I'm spending on this business, and I'm checking in between commercial breaks. I was already so exhausted after just 2 months, she explained. So I stepped away, which is not my thing. I'm not a quitter. Did her exit bring the show down with her? Not long after Banks left, Fab Life was abruptly canceled. Was Tyra Beauty a pyramid scheme? In 2012, Tyra Banks made a move that surprised many. She headed to Harvard Business School. Sort of. While she frequently made it seem like she earned an MBA, she actually took a non-degree certificate course. Regardless, she used that Ivy League experience to launch Tyra Beauty in 2014. The cosmetics line, often called the Mary Kay for Millennials by The Cut, allowed customers to sign up as beauty-tainers and sell products for a profit. However, the concept came with its fair share of controversy. The Cut's writer, who tried the service, reported that while Tyra Beauty promised flexible work on your own terms, like Uber for makeup, there were some catches. To qualify, you had to sell $150 worth of products in your first month, and there was a $59 enrollment fee. The more products you sold, and the more people you recruited to become beauty-tainers, the higher your commission. Unfortunately, the writer only made $27.75. Tyra Beauty was quickly accused of running a multi-level marketing scam. Vice pointed out the brand's similarities to Mary Kay's questionable business practices, and a Reddit thread even claimed that Banks's site was filled with fake product reviews. In 2017, the direct sales side of Tyra Beauty was shut down. Stress made her take a step back. It may seem like Tyra Banks stepped away from the spotlight or quit a few too many projects over the years, but in reality, she's made a conscious decision to take breaks when needed. With her packed schedule, between Top Model, The Tyra Show, her production company, and beauty brand, Banks has certainly juggled a lot in the past. Yes, even she eats carbs. But with time comes wisdom, and Tyra now understands that you can't do it all at once. These days, she's more intentional about choosing projects and stepping back when she needs to recharge. I've learned to not overlap, so I don't go crazy, she told Variety in 2018. I felt like there was a meat hook in my back, and I was walking onto the stage, and the meat hook is pulling me back to my dressing room saying, you need to just stop, you need to rest. And I'm just pulling against it, and my flesh is tearing. That's how I felt. She became a mama. In 2016, Tyra Banks became a mom for the first time. But her journey to motherhood wasn't easy. She and her then-boyfriend, Eric Asla, had been trying to conceive for a while when she turned to in vitro fertilization. Unfortunately, all of her IVF attempts failed, despite her having already set up a nursery in anticipation of bringing home a baby. Eventually, Banks turned to surrogacy to start her family, and in January 2016, she welcomed her son, York. Like many working moms, Banks has had to get creative when it comes to balancing her professional and personal life. "I wasn't doing that at first," she told Variety. "I was seeing my son in the morning and after work, which is pretty much a typical working mom thing. But then I realized, let me take advantage of the fact that I'm on set, and I'm the boss on a lot of my sets to incorporate him into my life. So she set up a nursery on set for York. Now," she says, "he's even more attached to her because he spends so much time with her. Now he's pulling away from the nanny," she shared. Did Funded ever get funded? What happened to Funded? What was Funded even supposed to be? These are the questions Tyra Banks fans have likely been asking since 2016. According to Variety, the former Victoria's Secret model was set to host a Shark Tank-style reality show for NBC, but it seems the series never actually came to life. The show was supposed to feature three big-name entrepreneurs: Rob Dyrdek, known for his viral Vine replays on MTV and reportedly worth $50 million, Banks herself with a net worth of $90 million, though her accountants joke she needs to spend some Dean money, and Rohan Oza, a former Shark Tank investor who helped build Glacéau, eventually selling it to Coca-Cola for $4.1 billion. Sounds promising, right? But since 2016, there's been almost no word on the project. Deadline referred to Funded as a working title, suggesting it might have been scrapped before it could even get a proper name. It's also possible that the show was part of Banks's Universal deal, which didn't get finalized until 2018. The show was supposed to be produced by Universal Television Alternative Studio, who has a deal with Banks, and Dyrdek's Super Jacket Productions, but there's no mention of it on Super Jacket's website. What happened here? Her stint on AGT was a blink-and-you-missed-it moment. In 2017, Tyra Banks stepped into the role of host on America's Got Talent, taking over from Nick Cannon after some alleged tension with the network executives. NBC seemed excited about the change, and Banks herself shared in an interview with Billboard that producer Nigel Lithgow gave her some key advice before the show started. "You be you, darling. If they give you any lines that don't feel natural, just throw it out and be you. That's why I have you here." While the producers clearly wanted her for her vibrant personality, Banks's time on the show was unexpectedly short. In November 2018, she casually said she'd had a really nice run with AGT and had a lot of fun with the series. Note the past tense. Just a month later, she announced she was leaving the show to focus on her production company, Bankable Productions. ANTM returns with a new network. In 2017, America's Next Top Model made a big return on VH1, the network where reality shows often end up after being phased out by primetime networks. Tyra Banks stayed on as an executive producer, but took a break from hosting for a season when the show was revived, with British pop star Rita Ora stepping in to take her place. However, Tyra's hiatus didn't last long. Thanks to a massive outpouring of support from her loyal fans on social media, she was convinced to come back. "My social media was really blowing up," she shared. "We had a lot of spirited conversations with co-creator Ken Mock about me returning, and I wasn't so sure. But then I started seeing the feedback on my feeds, and I couldn't ignore it. So finally, I called him. It was kind of an uproar." With her return, Tyra managed to save the show from potential cancellation. Again, it's never too late to make a sequel. It's never too late to chase your dreams, even if that means making a TV movie sequel 18 years after the original aired. In 2018, Tyra Banks returned to her iconic role as Eve, the Barbie-like doll, in Lifesize 2. She even brought back her rapping skills for the freeform film. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Banks shared that she not only wrote the melody and lyrics for the Be a Star remix, but also re-recorded her old parts from the original 2000 film. "I sang every word in the original. That was me too," she explained. "Instead of using a sample from the first movie, Disney couldn't find the original lyrics separated from the music, so I had to re-sing it for the remix." Unfortunately, Lifesize 2 didn't quite live up to the success of its predecessor. It earned a 23% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, although critics gave it a slightly higher 40%. Still, the sequel became Freeform's biggest premiere and even earned a 2019 GLAAD Award nomination. Not too bad, right? You could say it's, well, shabby chic. She's been hustling behind the scenes. There's a solid reason you haven't seen Tyra Banks on the red carpet lately. She's been diving into new passions behind the scenes. In 2016, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Harvard Business School certificate holder would co-teach an MBA class at Stanford University. Sound surprising? The course focused on building a personal brand, and let's face it, Banks is a pro when it comes to branding. She even coined her teaching style as edutainment. Beyond teaching, Banks has also made a name for herself as a tech investor. She contributed to a $12 million funding round for The Skim, a digital media company aimed at female millennials. That same year, she released her memoir, Perfect is Boring, where she opened up about everything from her teenage period party to her nose job. In short, Tyra's been keeping herself busy. She's poised to become a big Hollywood producer. Tyra Banks wasn't content with just being on TV. She wanted to be in charge of it. In 2018, she sealed a major first-look deal with Universal Television and Universal Television Alternative Studios. According to Deadline, the deal would allow her to develop and produce both scripted and unscripted programming through her production company, Bankable Productions. As Banks shared with Variety, I always knew I was going to produce TV and film because that's what I was going to go to college for. But I deferred that to go to Paris to model. Now I'm right back to where I always wanted to be. Modeling happened to me, but I happened to TV and film because that was always the goal. Banks is no stranger to behind-the-scenes work. She's credited as a producer on America's Next Top Model, The Tyra Banks Show, and Lifesize 2. Her reality show and talk show both earned her 2 Daytime Emmy Awards, and ANTM is still going strong after over 300 episodes. Not bad, right? Despite her success, Banks knows she's often still seen through the lens of the model thing. As she put it to Variety, "I'm always like, let me show you how smart I am. Let me prove to you how focused I am. Even when I'm 80 years old, I'll be like, but I'm a smart model." Tyra, we see you, and we think you're truly flawsome. The sad truth about Tyra Banks' love life. During high school, Tyra started dating a fellow student named Craig Taylor. We're not sure when they broke up, but after graduation, Tyra became more focused on her career. She was accepted to Loyola Marymount University, but instead of going to college, she chose to dive into her modeling and acting dreams. At this point, Tyra was already used to getting attention from men, especially from one who was particularly eager for her attention. Def Jam executive Russell Simmons. According to Vanity Fair, Russell had his eye on Tyra, along with many other models, until he saw Tyra's close friend, 17-year-old Kimora Lee Perkins, walking the runway at the Mary McFadden show. Kimora recalled that Tyra went up to Russell and said, "Leave her alone. She's a good girl. She's not like those floozies that you know, Russell." Despite Tyra's warning, Russell didn't back off. Kimora later ignored the advice and pursued a relationship with him once she turned 18. She also shared, "All the girls who were telling me he was no good had either slept with him or were trying to sleep with him, I later found out. I won't name names." It's safe to say Tyra wasn't one of the women trying to get involved with Kimora's man, especially since she later became one of Kimora's 5 bridesmaids on her wedding day. In June 1993, Tyra graced the cover of Essence magazine, looking as stunning as ever. That cover caught the attention of director John Singleton's publicist, who reached out to Tyra, suggesting she might be a good fit for John's upcoming film. Tyra shared with TV1's Uncensored that the audition took place in Los Angeles, and John was impressed. She landed the role of Omar Epps' track star girlfriend in Higher Learning. But that wasn't all. John also took an interest in Tyra, and they soon became one of Hollywood's hottest couples. Despite the success of her film debut, John encouraged Tyra to focus on her education. Tyra agreed, telling Entertainment Weekly that she wanted to finish her degree before settling down and starting a family. In January 1995, Entertainment Weekly reported that Tyra was wearing a diamond sapphire friendship ring that John had given her. However, their relationship ended shortly after. There were plenty of rumors about the cause of their breakup, and many people speculated that Tyra and the late director had a toxic relationship. During an interview with Ryan Seacrest, Tyra opened up about a past boyfriend who had both emotionally and physically harmed her. She chose not to reveal his name or when the relationship occurred, fearing that Ryan would easily figure out who she was talking about. Tyra did share that the experience left her struggling with dating and relationships moving forward. She further discussed her dating history in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, where she opened up about a different relationship. While it wasn't physical, behind closed doors, her boyfriend was a nightmare. Tyra explained, "There were blows to my spirit, blows to my emotional well-being, every day." She turned to her mom for help, asking her to assist in getting away from him. But her mom gave her a tough response. "You have to do this on your own. I will not tell you to leave, and I will not cut you off from him, because you'll just run out in the middle of the night and go straight back." With no other options, Tyra made a plan for herself and was finally able to walk away from the relationship. In the spring of 1995, Tyra began dating musician Seal. In an interview with the New York Post, it was noted that Seal, who was 32 at the time, split his time between London and Los Angeles, where he would spend time with Tyra, who was 21. For those who were concerned about the age gap between Tyra and Seal, Seal brushed it off, telling the Times, "But women mature faster than men." The couple mostly kept their relationship out of the spotlight. While many speculated that Seal's album Human Being was inspired by Tyra, he set the record straight during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, saying, "It wasn't inspired by her, but we bump into each other every now and then. There's no drama." In the following years, Tyra casually dated a few celebrities, including former NBA player Rick Fox. One night, she introduced Rick to her acquaintance, Vanessa Williams. According to the New York Post, a year later, after Tyra and Rick's relationship ended, Rick and Vanessa began dating and eventually got married. After a series of celebrity relationships, Tyra decided to try something different and dated someone who wasn't in the spotlight. In 1999, she rekindled her romance with her high school sweetheart, Craig Taylor. However, that relationship didn't last long, and by 2001, she was dating NBA player Chris Webber. Tyra was often spotted at his Sacramento Kings games, both home and away. 3 years after their relationship went public, SF Gate reported that Tyra and Chris spent the entire summer together in New York City, which made them realize they were ready to settle down. However, their wedding never took place, and they reportedly split in 2004. In an August 2005 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Tyra spoke about a past relationship that, in her words, involved not just cheating but emotional abuse. While she didn't name names, it was clear that the situation had been difficult, but she said it made her a stronger person. Ready to dive back into the dating world, Tyra struggled to find the right guy. In October 2006, during an appearance on Oprah and Friends with Maya Angelou, Tyra shared, "The dating thing is hard, Dr. Angelou. Do you know anybody?" Dr. Angelou advised her to slow down, take time to appreciate the moment, and write down her ideal man. Less than a year later, Tyra met the man of her dreams, John Utendahl, the owner of the largest African-American-owned investment banking group in the U.S. During an interview on The Wendy Williams Show, Tyra couldn't stop gushing about John, their strong partnership, and their shared desire to have children. Although she expressed her wish to get married, she admitted that a wedding wasn't necessary to prove their love. While juggling her responsibilities on America's Next Top Model and Stylista, 34-year-old Tyra was also spending a lot of time with her boyfriend, 51-year-old John, who lived in New York. To be closer to him, she made the decision to move her talk show from Los Angeles to New York, though she was quick to clarify that it wasn't for a man. She told the New York Times, "I would never move the show for a man. It was because I prefer the pace and excitement of New York to Los Angeles." In 2009, rumors swirled that Tyra and John had gotten engaged, but Tyra quickly shut them down with a tweet, which has since been deleted. Unfortunately, by the fall of 2011, Tyra and John parted ways. Page 6 reported that John had already moved on with a leggy Russian model. Later that year, Tyra took some time for herself and embarked on what was described as an eat-pray-love-style trip to Bali. While the retreat was meant to be a spiritual escape, it soon turned into an opportunity for Tyra to meet someone new. People magazine reported that while in Bali, Tyra connected with a local man and they hit it off. When she returned to New York, they began a long-distance relationship. Tyra was so taken with him that she flew back to Bali to spend the holidays with her new beau. However, by 2013, she was spotted kissing Beau Wow on an episode of 106 and Park. In January 2014, rumors began circulating that she was dating Uber investor Shervin Peshawar, but Tyra quickly put that gossip to rest. She revealed to Access Hollywood that she had actually been quietly dating Norwegian photographer Erik Asla since 2013. Tyra and Erik met when he appeared as a guest on the Norwegian version of America's Next Top Model. 2 years later, in January 2016, Tyra shared with People magazine that her dream had finally come true. She and Erik welcomed a baby boy, York, via surrogate. Just 6 months after Tyra and Erik welcomed their son, Page 6 reported that their relationship was on shaky ground. An insider revealed that the stress of the first few months after their baby's arrival had taken a toll on their connection. Erik allegedly told family members he was considering moving out of their LA mansion and getting his own apartment. In October 2017, the couple officially announced their breakup, ending nearly 4 years of dating. Despite the end of their romantic relationship, Tyra and Erik remained committed to co-parenting their son. Tyra also leaned heavily on the support of her mom. She shared with ET Online that she, her mom, and her son had formed such a close bond that they'd often pile into bed together for cozy moments. However, their little 3-person slumber parties came to a halt in August 2018 when Tyra began dating Canadian businessman Louis Bélanger Martin, who was also a father. By November 2019, Page 6 reported that Tyra and Louis were living together, though he still spent a significant amount of time at his other properties, including an apartment in England that he shared with his ex-wife, a house in Barbados, and a home in Quebec. In April 2019, the entertainment world was shocked by the sudden death of Tyra's ex-boyfriend, director John Singleton, at the age of 51, following a stroke. Tyra expressed her condolences with a heartfelt tweet. In January 2025, Tyra's Los Angeles home was destroyed in the Palisades fire, while she and Louis, who had been together for more than 5 years, were in Australia. Louis works for Smize, a company Tyra is involved with. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when the next video drops. See you next time.